It's a lifetime of transformation, right? I mean, unless you're just going to sit in a cave and meditate forever, life is going to happen to you. And when life happens to you, being someone who is in personal transformation makes it so much easier, right? And that's the truth is, this seems hard at first, but once you have a toolbox, like we're going to give you today, it makes life a lot easier. What we want is for you to create from a place of being happy, not creating from a place of being sad, depressed, all those things, right? The first order of business is to get your cortisol down and you to a happy place. You are born with millions and millions and millions of connections in your brain that just over time get pruned away, and we keep the ones that we need. And depending on what you've survived or what your life was like when you were little, you kept things that sometimes helped you survive, but may not be serving you now. Why are we here on this planet? We are not here on this planet to work ourselves to death and not enjoy ourselves, right? You've got to learn to carve out time. Train yourself to be conscious, training yourself to be present, training yourself to have you be in charge of your life rather than your neural patterns being in charge of your life. Because what happens is when a neural pattern runs, it's running you, you're not running it. And that's all this is about, is training and development. And so when you can get that it's just about training and development, then we can take the personality out of it. It makes it sting less. It's nothing serious. It's nothing personal. It's just your brain, right? It's just this operating system running through. I want you to only speak to yourself the way you would a good friend. My second purpose is to have you become conscious to the fact that you create your own life through your thoughts, words, and emotions. And for you to start doing it consciously rather than unconsciously. What I know is that every human being has a world, right? Every head is a world. We would say that this is our planet, this is our nature, but the truth is your world is up here in your head. It's your culture, it's your thoughts, it's where you come from. And you can be in the same room as someone and not be in the same world that they're in. So I want you to get to a place where you can be in alignment, where you see human beings as nothing but love, right? Because they could be scary. And I want to live in a world of people who know themselves as loved. I don't want you to shove a massage or a manicure in the middle of your 60-hour work week because you're supposed to, right? All that does is stress you out, right? I am not talking about that. I'm not talking about you like, oh, I'm practicing self-care because I'm squeezing in a manicure in between this 20-hour day. That is bullshit, right? All that does is stress you out. What I'm talking about is stuff that really fills you up. Stuff that really has you feel good about yourself. Human beings love to be right. There's a book out called Would You Rather Be Right or Married? If I can get you to notice the stupid things you do as humans without beating yourself up and making yourself wrong, that's a big, huge step in transformation, right? One thing can happen in the middle of this room, and there are 60 plus people in this room, and every single person will have a different interpretation of what happened. And so your interpretation of what happened in the room has to go through here. And so there is no reality. There's just your reality. There is no reality. There's your reality. That's it. And what we want to do is have your reality show up as powerful as possible. And so coming from this place of responsibility or responsibility is being 100% able to respond to my life. 100% able to respond to my life. The very first habit in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is to become 100% responsible or responsible for your life. Your right and your left prefrontal cortex are where your reason and focus brains are. Your right and left prefrontal cortex are where your reason and focus. When you're hijacked, what happens is your amygdala fires, right? So you've experienced what it considers a threat. Now, for human beings, that could be anything. Our autonomic nervous system runs. It just goes. And we're so blessed by this, right? Because if a piano is about to drop on my head, the last thing I want to have to do is to go, I wonder what I should do. I don't need to. My body will just move, right? My body will just go, spow, and I'm out of the way, I'll be running. We can't sometimes control when it fires because it feels threatened. But what happens when it does fire is it washes out your right and left prefrontal cortex. And your right and left prefrontal cortex, you need to reason and focus. I mean, you don't ever want to listen to a brain that's been hijacked. Do not ever think that a brain that has been hijacked is actually telling you the truth. Now, how do we know when we've been hijacked? The biggest symptom of hijack is ruminating on the threat. Ruminating on the threat. Now, you all know you do this because you have a situation happen, and then you can't stop thinking about it, right? It will just chatter at you all day long. And it will say things like, I should have said this. I can't believe they said that to me, right? And it just goes and goes and goes. As long as that is happening, your cortisol is still high. Your job is to get that cortisol down so that your right and left prefrontal cortex can actually function powerfully.